Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today's guests are Eric and Joanna Olson, and they're the co-founders of Whirly Board. Let me tell you, if you haven't heard of Whirly Board yet, you are in for a treat. I happen to have one. Let's see if I can get this in the screen over here right now with me, and we're going to get into this and what this board looks like. But just to get us kicked off, I want to say, Eric, Joanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, so we got a lot to cover today. I want to get into, how you came up with the board, the concept. I saw some pictures. I want to get into, of course, where you're at with the company now, your vision going forward. But before we get into all that, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Eric, Joanna, at Mission Matters, our aim and goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's what we do. Eric and Joanna, what missions matter to you?
Well, our mission started as a way to make cool products. We started with the Whirly Board, and we intend to continue making more cool products. And Joanna has a greater mission of trying to save the world by using recycled products, promoting an active lifestyle, and just getting people to appreciate this awesome planet and save it.
It's awesome. Love bringing mission-based individuals on here to share why they do what they do, how they're doing, and what we all can learn from that so that we grow together. So I saw some pictures of the original version of Whirly Board. And first off, how did this all come about? Where'd you get this idea, Eric?
So I'm a board sports enthusiast. I grew up loving snowboarding, skateboarding, wakeboarding, all of those. And that was kind of my favorite thing to do. So incidentally, I was into balance boards, but the only balance boards that were out there were like the roller style. So you have a cylinder and you roll back and forth on the cylinder. But I personally never really felt like it helped much with actual board sports or anything really. It was kind of a fun activity, but I didn't think it did much. Mm-hmm. So I had the idea. I used to do a 180 on the roller, and I would, stand one way, spin and land the other way. And I thought, geez, what if there's a balance board where I could keep spinning? That would be kind of fun, because there's really no end to how far you can spin. And spinning is something I struggled with as a board sports person. I'd get a little awkward on my 360s and 540s. So I wanted to be able to practice that. So I cut a bowling ball in half, put it on a skateboard deck, and cut a pool ball in half and put one on the nose and tail. Yeah. And it turned out I really had a lot of fun with it in my basement. And I was like, geez, this thing is really cool. I think this could be something. And I had always wanted to, when I asked myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? At the time, I was an insurance salesman. That was definitely not it. And I would always say, I want to invent something and make it and sell it. And that was what I wanted to do. And so I was like, this is it. I'm going to do it. I can start making these in my garage.
Yeah. In the dust.
Joanna, hold on. So you got a pool ball cut in half. You got a couple pool balls, bowling ball.
Grab it.
What are you telling Eric at this time? What's going on?
So Eric and I actually got together shortly after he made his first prototypes with the bowling ball.
So that came with the territory. You knew you were in for the.
Yeah, I knew what was gonna happen. I knew what I was getting myself.
At that time, I was done cutting bowling balls, but I was still cutting pool balls, so there was still lots of dust.
Yeah, the pool balls were a great idea though, because all the pool balls that were made were sequential. So everybody who got the first original Whirly boards were the original ones.
Yeah, the first 159 boards, because pool balls go up to 15 and 9, so 159 was as high as I could go. So those are all.
Oh, so you had the original boards that were sold actually had the pool balls on them.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was
just like this.
On the grommet with those. That was our pool ball crisis.
No, once we were on the grommet, we were switching from pool balls, and the material we were using did not turn out, and I found out last minute that it left marks on the floor. So it was a mad scramble to find a new material and then try to make all the balls in time as the orders were coming in. And
wow.
So the holiday season.
Yeah, there's always a crisis at any given time.
So a lot of entrepreneurs that watch this show, and I'm just curious from your end, what was it like pushing through with that early prototype and that early concept? Because you said, things are going wrong. You're it's leaving marks on the floor. What do we do with this or that? How did you push through that time?
Good. You just do.
Innovate.
Yeah, I
Solve the
mean,
problems
yeah,
as
just
they come.
figure it out. Just scramble to figure it out. That particular problem, I just found another material, which was an epoxy material, and it took longer. I was like mixing the liquids together on the washer and dryer. At the end of
A
the
washer and
season,
dryer was
our
trash.
washer and dryer was destroyed. It was just covered with epoxy, all dripped all over it, and I was with a little chamber with a hair dryer so they would dry faster because we had. It was like that was the end of the first year, and I still had a job at that time, I think, or no, that was after I quit. But I had sold like 50 boards all year. You know, it was just talking to people and selling them on the chairlift.
How'd you get those initial customers? Like, how'd that happen?
It was just talking, taking them to go out with friends, and I always had one with me so I could show it. And most of the time, if I walked into wherever we were hanging out, and somebody would say, "Hey, what's that? I got to have one of those." So that's kind of how I knew
If
that
people try to buy them from you on the spot, I feel like they would have.
they did. Absolutely. It was rare to not pull one out in a place, social gathering, and not sell one. So
Eric decided he was just gonna quit his job and go out west. So he quit his job and like packed up his car and like went out west with all these whirly boards.
I had like 100 materials for 100 boards in the back of the car, and I was just basically couch surfing at friends and family out.
So is
out
this
west.
free? And this just for everybody to know, like when you order one of these, you're gonna get like this big old this really nice pamphlet. And is this you'll see on there how do you pronounce his name? Lander? Is this pre Big Boss Lander?
Oh yeah, this was 2015, so almost 10 years ago.
Wow. What was, and I'm guessing, and I'm just going to throw this out there, when you decided to quit your job, obviously there's got to be a little bit of fear there. Like, you're quitting the job, you're going to do what? Like, what happened?
A lot of my friends
Joanna, that's for Eric. Joanna, you got a whole nother question to answer on that one. That must have been true love.
For him. Yeah. He just went out west and I held down the fort.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was kind of right when we got together, and so I guess she thought it was cool what I was doing. And I thought it was cool that she thought it was cool, and we were like, "Let's do this."
Wow, what an amazing story! And so now you have the product. What happens when you go out west? Like how does that work for you?
I went out there, and like I said, I was staying with my cousin and other friends. I basically just traveled around the mountains. My goal was to snowboard every day when I did that. But, you know, like I said, I sold maybe 50 boards. So eventually I ran out of money, and I had some savings from my job, which kept me alive for that period.
I think you found out though that like just going like door to door in shops wasn't exactly the way to sell in this.
Everybody loved it, but like I thought I was going to go out there and just start selling them to shops, and the orders were going to start coming in. But obviously it didn't work that way. It's not that easy.
You were like doing like consignment and like hunting them down to get paid, and it was not the way to go about it.
Yeah, so it was.
How did you pivot? How did you adjust from that? You had an initial idea, and then like how did you pivot?
Well, that was it. I came back, kind of found out that the good news was I proved the concept, because I'd bring it into board shops and it always was well received. People were like, "Hey, that's really cool," and I want that. Like, I like these. Don't really have a space for it in our shop right now, but I actually sold more on chairlifts and, you know, other places, just talking to people incidentally. But so I came back home and we realized that we needed to figure things out and figure out how to sell them.
And did the website.
And that was the grommet. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the grommet.
Amazon. Yeah. Grommet, I don't think the grommet exists like it used to.
The grommet does not exist like it used to, but it was like a platform where you'd make a video, they'd make a video for you, and you'd launch your product to their audience, and they had a pretty sizable audience. So we did this launch day, which was December 7th, 2015, and I had felt good about it, but I didn't really know what was going to happen. And then we had this call before the launch day, and they're like, "Well, we're projecting to sell 200 boards, you know, on day one or on launch day." And I was like, "Oh, wow, yeah, good luck with that." That sounds like a lot.
They're like, "I sold 50 all last year."
I know. I'm like, "Well, yeah, sure, I got those ready to go. Sure, yeah, that sounds good." And then they called me at like 11, and they're like, "When are you going to get more boards in?" And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, we're sold out of the 200 you said you had." And I was like, "Uh-oh, I better go start pouring epoxy."
Oh man. And
That was
so
a great, like, hey, this is probably gonna work maybe.
Mhm.
yeah, and so that's the initial bump. What happens after that? Because you sometimes you get that initial bump, that initial. So then what do you do?
It tapered off.
Oh,
That
then we
normally
launched.
happens, by the way. So I kind of knew it would have to taper
Yeah, I
off
Then
mean,
we
right
launched
after.
on Amazon.
we
Mm,
put it on Amazon. We were doing like one a day if we were lucky, maybe one or a day where we sold 3 was kind of exciting. And
yeah.
but we'd talk about it and be like, hey, if we could do 3 or 4 of these every day, maybe we could make a living. And then turns out that's not how it works. But we kind of slowly grew it, and we've really taught ourselves everything. Joanna built our first website, and she's
Wow.
kind of managed more of that side, managing the website and all of that stuff. I've kind of been in charge of production and figuring out the product and developing new stuff.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, literally everything we've just stumbled our way through and figured it out. We both have biochemistry degrees, so this is not our background.
No, it's totally your background. Everybody goes to school that says biochemistry, balance boards. They both start with a
Yeah,
B.
I
There's
mean,
something very relatable there.
Science of balance.
Exactly. And so your original board you mentioned had bowling balls and let's see if we can see this and a pool
Yeah.
ball here, a bowling ball there. Like how so you've obviously upgraded, you've continued to like improve the board. It's absolutely beautiful just for everybody at home that's watching this. I mean, it's heavy, it's nice, it's quality, stands up to any like skateboard or board you think you'd buy. You obviously manufactured and created this for something that you wanted yourself as well. It's definitely really high quality product. When I first saw it, I
Thank
didn't
you.
really know what the weight would be like. I didn't know the thickness. I didn't know but I feel like once you get one of these, like it's gonna be really hard to wear that thing out. Like
It is. I mean, I designed them
it's
to
an
last
heirloom
forever.
item unless you're like out on sun. It's really if you're using it indoors, I mean, like it's beautiful. Like talk to me about how you continued to upgrade the product because it's absolutely a beautiful board.
Thank you. Well, yeah, we definitely build them to last. We offer a lifetime guarantee, and anytime there are issues, which is very rare, we're happy to replace it or fix it or whatever the customer wants to do. So
Yeah, it's not a great business model to
yeah,
offer
unfortunately, we found that
such a
a
solid product with a
lifetime
lifetime guarantee.
should have factored in that planned obsolescence. No, we're very much against that concept.
Yeah,
So
no, we want
that's
to make products that like last for people, but it is a
Absolutely.
challenging kind of running a business where you.
But yeah, how it all started is I was selling insurance in the manufacturing industry. So I had customers who were plastics manufacturers and
Oh
things like
wow. So
that.
some of those relationships you had.
Yeah, actually, that really helped me get started because there was a guy who helped me, gave me a really good deal on the tooling, which is the more expensive part of getting things started. So we made the center ball by roto molding, which was a cheaper way to do it. And since then, we've upgraded to injection molding, and in the near future, we're hoping to improve by like offering some sort of making everything out of some recycled materials.
Wow. That's interesting because many times as entrepreneurs, business owners, or just people going through life, right? Like we don't always know what's going to lead to the next thing or what that looks like. Like I bet you
Right.
the last thing you were thinking about when you were selling insurance in manufacturing was to think, oh, you know what? I'm going to need these contacts one day because I'm going to be making a balance board that kicks all
Right.
other balance boards' butts, right? I don't think you were thinking that, right?
Well, on the contrary, it wasn't balance boards, but my dream has always been to invent something and always come up with some
Mm,
idea. So I didn't, as I was meeting with my customers and
yeah.
prospects, I was always interested in what they did. And I always thought
Wow.
about, what could I make that these
Mhm.
guys could help me with? That was literally always on my mind. But, it's easier. A lot of things are easier said than done. This was something where I was able to just go in the garage, get out the Dremel tool
Yeah.
and start making them. And then I could bring it in and say, hey, can you help me make this?
Hmm.
He's always
So
making tinkering with
I'm
things.
always thinking about making stuff.
so tell me what's next for the board. Like talk to me about the rollout, the continued marketing, like the efforts to get it out there. The way that I got your information was from your PR person who sent out a press release and I was out and I saw it and I'm like, you know what? This is an amazing gift for Christmas and I wanted to make sure or for the holidays and I wanted to make sure to squeeze you in on the show because came in like what are the plans like for the board going forward?
Yeah, I mean, marketing has always been the biggest challenge, I think. Just kind of delivering our message in the way that we want it to has been, I don't know, you can go ahead.
But I think like where we want to take Whirly Board is to try to help build a more like eco-conscious like consumerism like market. Just
Hmm.
make people more aware, and we want to develop an app to help people like hopefully like shop more like just like think about when you shop, right? Like, because we're
Mm.
just constantly like shipping things like back and forth. And so our goal is to kind of maybe take this more to be than a balance board company. We want to make it a wellness, like eco-friendly company.
Yeah.
So hopefully add more products in the fitness line. We want to get different like bands and different stuff like that to add to like your workout routine. So not only if you have a whirly board now, it originally started for like doing board sports tricks and training, but then we found out people loved it at their standing desk so much. So it's perfect for anybody working out, you know, the entire year at your standing desk. But
It's
then
great for the core at that standing.
Yeah,
desk.
it's
It's
amazing. And you
great
don't
for the
realize
core.
like
and
that.
kids love it too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the message that we really want to always deliver is that it's fun for the whole family. Like the kids can have fun on it, they can improve their skills, parents can use it for workouts or at their standing desk, and anybody who's into board sports is going to automatically enjoy it, I think.
We just want people to like want to improve their wellness overall, and by doing like loving like the board and loving their sports, they'll also like in turn like love their environment and the earth and hopefully give back.
We've had a lot of slogans over the years, but I think our first slogan was always more than just a balance board. And that's, I feel like, even though we've come up with a lot of other taglines or whatever, I think that's the one that really we want to carry forward and become more than just a balance board. We don't want to be just a balance board company. We want to be like a wellness and encourage people to get outside and have some fun.
Inspire companies to kind of take on a similar business model, or just,
Yeah.
you know, inspire people to buy products that are similar to ours, like that are like manufactured in the US and different things like that.
Absolutely amazing. I love this story, and that's why I was happy to bring it to my audience. Love to see a family business and also just creating something and coming together. Now that I liked the board before, now I like it even more now that I know the story behind it. So, Eric, Joanna, it's been amazing having you both on the show. I just have to ask, what's next? What's next for you? What's next for the company?
Well, I want to continue to innovate. I'm going to keep making products. We've got a lot of ideas that we're working on.
Yeah, we've taken a lot of customer feedback and we've been working on hopefully some new things in the
New
mix
innovations
that I think it'll be great for anybody at this point.
We also need to, or want to and need to add more instructional content. We've been talking about doing like some even like live coaching, whether it's through personal trainers who put together actual workout routines for people, or even I think it's all going to start with just us getting online with people and giving like getting started with your board coaching sessions.
That's amazing. Well, great to hear this. And for all the people that are watching or listening to this and that wanna connect and that wanna grab a board, especially for the holidays, how do they do that?
Best place would be our website, whirlyboard.com.
If you sign up for SMS, I think you can get 15% off right now.
Oh, we like time.
And it will be there in time for Christmas.
Amazing. And for everybody watching and listening to this, just so you know, we'll put the links to the website in the show notes, so you can just click on the link and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Eric, Joanna, man, it has really been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.